company, Mixta Africa. Could you all get... In prayer.
We were before you. We thank you, Father, guide our process.
For the confirmation that we have a quorum for this meeting.
Africa Products meet shareholders physically attend 6 reform. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, registrars, Mr. Ofuegu. With this committed.
Given that is on Bambadwe Road, Victoria Island, Lagos State, Nigeria, on Thursday, 1st of to receive the order on as to elect agenda read institution of the, with the affirming by the institution of the, with the affirming by the appointment of Mrs. to ratify the appointment number 9th of May 2012 of the Compt at its meeting of 8. Mr. Chairman.
I members of inspection for inspection Act 2020. For inspection Act 2020. Directors who are our new directors, Mr. Wale Odutola. And my name is Dakpo Shinisi. I am the chairman. Thank you. Thank you. Members of the board, she's online. The company secretaries of the, thank you, Amaka Nwachuku, December 2023. Present at today's meeting, they are all the uncertainty. All the uncertainty. And with the and the director's report. I have of the company for the year that ended shares report. I have of the company for the year that ended shareholders in a test that they have been taken as read. Thank you. And the director's report is in accordance with the, if you don't have one, read the report of the auditors.
Which shareholders and other stakeholders read excerpts of the report. It's from the audit of the consolidated and separate financial statements. Opinion. We have audited the consolidated and separate financial statements of Mixta Real Estate PLC and its subsidiaries, the group and company, set up 31st December 2023, and the consolidated and separate statements of profit and loss and other comprehensive income, the consolidated and separate statements of changes in equity, and the consolidated and separate statements of cash flows for the year then ended. The note to the consolidated and separate financial statements, including a summary of material accounting policy information. In our opinion, the consolidated and separate financial statements give a true and fair view of the consolidated and separate financial position of Mixta Real Estate PLC as at 31st December 2023, and its consolidated and separate financial performance and consolidated and separate cash flows for the year then ended in accordance with IFRS accounting standards as issued by the International Accounting Standards Board, the requirements of the Company and Other Matters Act 2020, and the Financial Reporting Council of Nigeria Act as amended 2023. Please refer to page 58 for the last paragraph, which I'll read from. Report on other legal and regulatory requirements. In accordance with the 5th schedule of the Company and Other Matters Act, we expressly state that 1. We have obtained all the information and explanation which, to the best of our knowledge and belief, were necessary for the purpose of our audit. The group has kept proper books of account so far as appears from our examination of those books. And 3, the group and company's financial position and its statements of profit or loss and other comprehensive income are in agreement with the books of accounts and returns. Signed for on behalf of Deloitte & Touche by my partner Michael Oshunle on 9 July 2024. Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you, distinguished stakeholders.
Thank you. Thank you. Hello, thank you, Deloitte and Touche. We will go to the audit committee report, and we'll have the chairman, Mr. Ralph Osayame, the chairperson of the audit committee, to read the committee's report. Thank you, Mr. Osayame. Hello.
Page 54. To the members of Mixta Real Estate PLC. In accordance with the provisions of Section 404 of the Companies and Allied Matters Act 2020, the members of the Audit Committee of Mixta Real Estate PLC hereby report on the financial statements for the year ended 31 December 2023 as follows. 1. We have exercised our statutory functions under Section 404 of the Companies and Allied Matters Act 2020 and acknowledge the cooperation of management and staff in the conduct of these responsibilities. 2, we are of the opinion that the accounting and reporting policies of the company and group are in accordance with legal requirements and agreed ethical practices, and that the scope and planning of both the external and internal audits of the year ended 31st December 2023 were satisfactory and reinforce the group's internal control systems. Number 3, we have deliberated on the findings of the external auditors who have confirmed that the necessary cooperation was received from management and in the course of their statutory audit, and we are satisfied with management's responses thereon to the external auditors' recommendations on the accounting and internal controls. Signed, Ralph Osayame, Chairman Audit Committee. And I now introduce our members of this audit committee. Oloye Eso Ogunleye, Bomi Akinremi, Seyi Owodunni, and Sadiq Mohammed. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Mr. Ralph Osayame, Chairman of the Audit Committee. Can you all hear me?
Yeah.
Okay, thank you very much. I hereby request members to ask questions or comments on the report and the accounts. And in this regard, appropriate reference should be made to the relevant pages to ensure that the right answers are given. Kindly introduce yourself when you have any questions, your name and the organization that you represent. We will do our best to answer your questions. Thank you. Who's going to be the first person? Okay. Please, your name and company. Thank you.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, the Board of Directors, and my co-shareholders. My name is Olawe Tajudeen, the Lagos Zone Shareholder Association. Olawe Tajudeen from Lagos Zone Shareholder Association. Firstly, I want to congratulate the management and the board for this AGM, and likewise congratulate with the shareholders. Let's certify that we did enough of applause for ourselves. Yes. When the Gen Zs were over there, clamoring for food is hard, no water, no road, no this, we are saying that, Mr., no dividend today. No dividend today. Although we give us that there's no dividend, but not to stand at least, we too need to show our mind and tell you what we're facing as shareholders. So just by the way, Mr. Chairman, on the report, what I expected to see on this report was the result at a glance, so that we to see virtually that this is where our company is at the moment. But you do the style of Tinubu style, Emelokon style, to put it at the middle of the report. But we have seen it, but it's not too bad. It's okay. But we expect that at least we see that at the first. So we know good, our company is making fantastic profit. Even if you're not giving us dividends, let's say, okay, we're making something positive in our company. Then the second one is that on the issue of corporate governance, I want to appreciate the board and particularly our representative on the board, the shareholders, that are making us proud. Because I look at the corporate governance is that almost everybody gives the adequate times for the company. And I've seen that the contribution have given us the result we are having today. But I don't know what they happen, why they're not telling me that we on this side too, we need to have something in our pockets. Because dividend is not there for us to see. Then the two things that is bothering me is two things that bother me that I want to raise here. I've been raising it in our meetings, almost all the meetings. And when we're using Ilupeju, I raised it. Lakwe, I raised it. I'm raising it here today again. It's two things. The first one is the NHF, National Housing Fund. I don't know how our company is tapping the opportunity of that housing fund. Because when you look around, the issue of housing is productive. So I don't know what the Mixta is doing. Because most of your properties that I see is not for people like me. We have to be sincere with ourselves. It's for people like on that table and maybe probably on that side of the hall. Yes. So you need to consider we on this side too. We are low income earner. We need a better life. We need a good house to live. If it's just a room, apartment that can be affordable. Mr. Chairman, sir, please consider it, sir. Then the second one that bothered me most is the issue of adverts. You see, the last time at Lakwa, I raised the people were laughing at me. Mr. Give them ram, give them rice. Fine. It's a market strategy for some people. But it may not be workable for our own side, but we need to have adverts for our company. The last time I went to Lakwa, I make an observation. At the bus stop where we drop to enter your resource center, there's no any single signboard to show that Mixta is existing in that area. No single signboard showing that. I don't know whether you have done that, because what I'm saying is about 3 or 4 years ago that have been there. But I don't know if they have been corrected. But sir, those two things, I'll need your full response on it. The issue of advert and where we are tapping the NHIF fund. Then lastly, Mr. Chairman, sir, on behalf of we the shareholders are here today, I want to inform you that outside there is not laughable. We try, in fact, if I should mention some names, there are one of us that came all the way from Ogun State down to this place this morning. You can hear them saying now. So, Mr. Chairman, sir, to appreciate with the Gen Zs of your company, at least make something reasonable for we the shareholders so that we can take ourselves back home. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Okay. Yes, wait, just hold on. We will be taking the various comments and questions, and we'll try and answer all of them together. As much as possible, I would like you to also look into our report, and if there are any comments on that report, so we can also answer that. We'll come back to the various comments that you raised earlier. Next, the gentleman there, your name, sir. Mm-hmm.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, for the opportunity. My name is Gafar Erin Folami, the youngest shareholder. If you look at this one now, I'm the youngest. Yes, so, all other protocols observed. I want to start from Mr. Larry Eta. I would understand he's the same person that served as the group MD of UAC. So I want to believe that he will be bringing on board his wealth of experience to enhance the value of this company and to take the company to the next level. Then if you go to page 10, our mission statement, it says, creating value for clients by delivering innovative solutions. So my question here is, what strategies do we have in place to create value for the shareholders in terms of, one, capital appreciation of our stock, then secondly, constant dividend payments. We should work on this. If you look, your counterpart, if you look at, let me just mention them, African properties. The price is like 10 naira now. So we should work on it. 16 plus. So we should work on it. So the next one is, look at this banner. This banner is saying Mr. Africa. And if you go to the notice of meeting, And you also mentioned it in your introduction, Mr. Africa. If you go to the notice of meeting, our listed name is Mr. Real Estate. So we know that we have different maybe estates in Africa, but the name that is we recognize is Mr. Real Estate. So we should take note of that. Then on page 11, under your highlights, you have improvement, I think 35% improvement on landmark of on our landmark. I want to understand what this one entails. Is it that you are building gates or improving the road? I don't know. So then another one is, I want you to assist us. We on this side of the divide, we have to have a representative, board representative, minority representation of the board. Help us on that. Thank you so much for the opportunity to speak.
Okay. Hello. Yes, we've taken quite a bit of comments now. What I'm going to say is that if the comments that you are going to, or the questions you are going to raise, is the same as what the two gentlemen have said, i.e. dividend, improvement, etc., there's no need for us to repeat that. If you have something different, then let us know. Just go to that so we can save the time. Yes, sir.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Shyama. All protocol observed. My name is Peter Enyanuku. Having said that, Peter Enyanuku, EYA and UKU. Having said that, I congratulate you for the good performance for this company. The revenue from the company is from 6 to 12 billion. Am I right? Keep it up. I'm really grateful. Having said that, the other income too increase. Please keep it up. Profit after tax from 2 million to 7 million company. The group 3 million to 21 million. Please. Billion. Yeah, keep it up. Having said that too, going to page 60, the goodwill. We can't get this money anymore. I know you can write it off, but we can trace it. I think my chairman can understand it.
Well, I'm following you.
Yeah. Trade property too. Let's try to get some money from there. Borrowing. I think it's increased from 16 to 17 for the group, from 36 to 27, just a few. Let's try to service it. So, kudos to the company. I thank you for a good job. God bless you and all the management. Thank you very much, sir.
Okay, thank you, gentlemen. What we'll do now is we have the executives with us. We have the managing director and our financial director with us. We'll try and answer some of the questions that you have raised, because quite a lot have come up. And after we finish that, if there's still more questions, then we'll take those additional questions. Can you please wait so that we deal with the questions? Yeah. You assume it's the last one. Okay. All right. Let us take. Okay. Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, for this opportunity. Like the previous speakers I've spoken, I will also be, my name is Olubusun Areyo, representing Exceptional Shareholder Association. So I'll be very brief. Much has been said by the previous speakers. I just have a few observations to make concerning page 3 to 4, where you have the notice of the meeting. I think, I didn't get to see where we actually did ratification of, I think three directors are coming in. I think that should have been included in this notice, because I didn't know we are ratifying the appointment of new directors until I saw it on the positive form. I think that should have been included on the notice going forward. Then I think I also want to mention something about that's say on notice of page 11, where you have resolution 11 on the notice of meeting, where we are increasing the board remuneration. Well, I know the board has worked so hard to actually just, but I think anytime shareholder comes to any annual meeting, one of the things that they normally use is item 2, which is declaration of dividend. Why the board has been increasing their own remuneration, at the other side here, there's no dividend. So even showcase that, okay, this thing is justifiable. I think that needs to be looked into, because it's not good that we didn't declare dividend in 2022, same in 2023. And I also want to get clarification on our EPS. I don't know whether is it 208 naira 0.5 kobo that was the EPS for, because that looks ridiculous when you even judge how much our share is selling on NESD. A share of 180 kobo, and our EPS is 208.54. So I don't know the reason why we cannot declare dividend from this. So I think I need to be brief. Then I also want to, I think someone that mentioned about the board attendance, that is commendable, 100% attendance. Then I also want to get clarification why we are having a negative working capital. When you check page 60, where our total current liability exceed the total current assets. So I need to get clarification on that. Then I also want to whether we on page 49 we have 95% being held by majority shareholder. I think does that not, probably in the future, are we not probably trying to raise capital? Because the business we are doing is capital intensive. Whether in the future, because this 95%, it makes us, at the other side, 5% make us to be vulnerable. Because when the children are taking, the 95% always have their way. Just like this dividend we are talking about. Why the 95% are benefiting, the 5% are not? So we need to look at that. Thank you very much for the opportunity.
Okay. Thank you very much. We will answer these questions. Otherwise, we won't be able to get done on time. So I'll get Mr. Deji Ali to answer as many of the questions as possible. If we need additional support, we will provide that too. Please go ahead.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, shareholders, and especially for your questions. I will try to address some of the questions, and where it is necessary, I will call on the CFO, Mr. Benson Ajayi, to shed some more light. I think a recurring question is that which relates to dividend. And I think Mr. Tajuddin mentioned that, Mr. Jafar, and the last gentleman as well. If you recall, for those of you that attended the last AGM, this issue came up, and we had in fact promised that for the 2023 financial year, it was our objective to ensure that we returned the company to its dividend-paying history. But you know, we're a real estate company. The nature of what we do is directly tied to what's happening in the economy itself. And truth be told, I think Nigeria, which is our biggest market, has gone through successive years of difficulties. I think if you look at the real estate sector in general, despite some of the concerns that we have relating to an inability to pay dividend, you find that the performance of your company is still significantly better than what our competitors are able to deliver. So we're constrained between having to deploy more capital to grow the asset base, which is what brings out the pattern of, I think somebody mentioned the issue of negative working capital. I think at this point in time, we're a significant borrower in the capital market. We feel we need to continue to do that, to invest in infrastructure, to grow the asset base. So it is true that whilst the dividend history has not been encouraging, if you look at the history in the last 5 years or so, you see that there's been a significant growth in the asset base of the company. And that's as a result of the continuous investment that we're making in infrastructure. Our expectation is that based on some of the things that we're doing, and it's tied to the question on NHF, which we'll try to explain in a minute or two. But based on where we are and some of the things that we're working on right now, we believe that there will be a turnaround in the current financial year, and hopefully, when we next meet, we'll be, we'll be saying something else about dividends. So I think we regret our inability to meet that commitment that we made last year, but we're working very hard to make sure that the dividend history is something that is returned, and also to please shareholders the way we'd like to see you go away every time you come to an annual general meeting. So that's the explanation that we have to offer on the issue of dividend. Now, I think Mr. Tajuddin also mentioned that most of our products are meant for the, and nothing could be farther from the truth, actually, you know. A lot of what we do, in terms of units, most of our products are actually in the affordable housing segment. But importantly, we have been working with the federal government in the last several months on an initiative that will make it possible for middle-income Nigerians to be able to contract mortgages for long periods and be able to acquire real estate. You know, so I think you need to watch out and also follow some of the developments with the company. We also encourage you, where it is possible, to look at taking up some of the company's products, because if you look at the performance of some of our real estate projects in the last 10 years or so, there has been a significant capital appreciation. So if you have been unable to get dividend the way you would like, one way of enjoying the value that we're able to offer is to make sure that you buy some of our products as well. You know, I think a lot of people who have done that have benefited immensely, you know, but important to state that most of the products that we'll be delivering in 2024 and 2025 in a low segment of the real estate market. It's actually not correct to say that most of our products are in the high end. I think the mistake we've made is to take you to Lackaway, and that's made you believe that that's representative of all that we do, you know. We've noted Mr. Tajuddin's comments on visibility. I think the head of that area is present, and will do a lot more, although we think that if you look at the social media space, and most of us that are much older have to move away from the traditional way of evaluating visibility. I think presence in social media is even more important these days. But Onome, who is there, would take a cue from what you've said and try to see what we can do. Mr. Jafar asked question in relation to Larietta. Mr. Larietta, we also are very excited about the admission of new directors who have come from different backgrounds and therefore should be able to provide invaluable contributions to our deliberations at the board. The other questions is capital appreciation. I think we've talked about that. Mixta Africa and Mixta Real Estate PLC. Mixta Africa is actually a registered trade name of the company. All right, so it's not an anomaly. If you recall, we started off as ARM Properties, which in turn acquired Mixta Africa in Spain. We combined the two and changed the name to Mixta Real Estate PLC because we couldn't get approval for the use of the name Mixta Africa in Nigeria, but we have it as a registered trade name, so whether it's Mixta Africa you come across or Mixta Real Estate PLC, we use them interchangeably. And Mixta Africa is important to use because we have a presence in other countries in Africa. So that's the explanation for that. You wanted to know what 35 improvements in land bank meant. I think essentially what that is saying is that the value of our land bank has grown by 35%. Why? In spite of the difficulties in the economy, because of the investments that we're making in roads and other forms of infrastructure. That's just so if you look at the Lakaway or the Lagos Newtown development as an example, what you notice is that the appreciation that has taken place within that land bank is well in excess of what has taken place in relation to surrounding properties in that area. And that's because of the significant investment that we're making in infrastructure. In the last 4 years or so, we've built almost 15 kilometers of road network within that same land bank. Minority representation on the board, that is noted, and that's something we would discuss further to see whether there's a need for us to move in that direction. But what we've tried to do is to make sure that within the shareholder group there's a diverse representation. Mr. Enyanaku. I think your question is in relation to goodwill. I'll get Benson to address that. You've also talked about the debt level and expressed concerns about our ability to service that. I'll let him take those two questions together. I didn't take the name of the last gentleman, I'm sorry. Mr. Arillo, okay. Before I hand over to Benson, I think you've talked about ratification of new directors. I believe that's coming up. That's going to come up. You asked questions about the earnings per share and trading on NASD. Trading on ASD is an odd situation for us. In the first instance, the company did not register on NASD, but shareholders who have had a need to sell their shares have taken it. So as a consequence, the sort of trading patterns that you see on NASD is not reflective of the value or the valuation of the company. In fact, if you, on accounts of a recent transaction that was done, the disparity between what you have on NASD and the intrinsic value of the company is several folds. The difference is just significant. So we need to find a way to make sure that shareholders who want to take advantage of a significant capital appreciation that I've referenced are able to do so. And I think that's a task that we need to set before ourselves, whether we need to do a full listing or find other ways of satisfying that requirement of shareholders. So with that said, I think I'll call on Benson to address the issue of goodwill and debt. Thank you very much.
Okay. Mr. Benson Ajayi is our CFO. Just go ahead.
Thank you. Thank you, Dee. Thank you, Dee. Thank you, Dee. I think the question on the goodwill, it's I think the value, if I remember correctly, is about 52 million naira. We've been carrying that balance for some time. Ideally, we should have written it off. but we are constrained because it arose in the jurisdiction that was outside the country. So there was a transaction we did long ago, and that goodwill arose out of that transaction in Spain. And so the rules governing the way we carried out from just frivolously writing it off, there's a long process around it. But we've commenced our process, and hopefully by the end of this year, you won't see that goodwill there again. Even though you noted it, I think the state of the development of our asset is, it requires a lot of investment at the point we are in. And if you look at the market around here, raising equity at this point in time is fairly difficult. Otherwise, we will have raised additional equity to replace the debt. And so we are constrained in order to create that value around our asset, and in order to ensure that our asset for the future is not lost, and that the valuation we see inherent in the business that we're doing is not lost. We are therefore compelled to continue to borrow in the short term, even as we use that borrowing to develop the assets, to create an attractiveness around the location we are in, and then to release value for the future. Now, that requires the painful consequence of that is that in the short term, you have a higher debt level, but then the way you want to measure the effectiveness of that strategy is to consider, oh, if my debt level is growing at 10% and my asset valuation is growing at 25%, then it's probably a better strategy because it's growing ahead of the growth in debt. So that is the unfortunate consequence of, because debts have to be repaid. And unfortunately ahead of shareholders too, because you pay interest whether or not you make a profit. So we're just going to ask shareholders to bear with us in the short term. If we haven't taken the decisions we have taken on debts and then to grow the asset in the way we have grown it, our business will not be the same as it is today. And anytime people visit our sites and they see what we have done, they are encouraged by the level of development there. So what we do is not like other. It's not like other institutions. You see the effect of the spending that you make. So that's the short explanation on the debt level. Unfortunately, interest rates are rising. We are all trying to manage through that, and hopefully, by the time you come here again next year, that debt level will have gone down significantly. I think those are the two questions. On the earnings per share and then the relationship between the earnings per share and dividend, I think DG has explained that. Given where we are, at the point we are in, we haven't been able to declare dividends.
Thank you very much, executives. I think there's still one more point that needs to be addressed.
Okay, I'm mindful of the fact that a representative of the Securities and Exchange Commission is there, so there is a question that Mr. Tajuddin asked that I just think I need to clarify. It's in relation to, well, in the absence of dividend, we can't trade our shares, anything for the boys, you know. And there are very strict rules in relation to that from the SEC. So I just want to be clear that the best we can offer at this point in time really is to continue to appeal to you to give us time. And by God's grace, next year when we meet, we'll have a different story. Thank you.
Well, thank you, shareholders. It's a very tough environment, and you all know, and the issues affect all of us in this country. There's no question about that. We are committed to ensuring that the value of your company continues to grow. And for those, again, that have gone to some of the facilities, Lakowe is a very good example. Last year, you were all there, and you know you can see what is going on. Without repeating what has been said, you know, giving back to shareholders is either in form of dividend or in continuous capital appreciation. In other words, investment in your company. And a very good thing which Mr. Ali had mentioned, it's, try and buy into it. There's so many ways in which we can help facilitate that process. We don't always have to put all of the money down. There are various ways in which you can invest by owning some of those property and say, I'm here. So I'm also growing as the value of my assets is growing. It's not keeping money in hand in Nigeria that actually builds wealth today. It's the investment in various things that build wealth. So I would like to encourage all of you, all of us, to try and invest in your company by buying up some of these properties. And part of the reason why the number of the board members have increased is also because we are looking for ways to manage the debt that the company has. So allowing other investors to come in so that we can, reduce the debt. Otherwise, all our work, all the money that we make just go to the bankers. You borrow money at such a high rate, you are paying money to the bank. If you don't pay money to the bank, they come and take over all the property. So, that's the real situation. So bear with us. And we actually discussed this also earlier today. I would like to get some dividend as well, when you're not getting, nobody's getting, so that is the reality. So thank you very much for your contribution. I really appreciate your looking into that. Thank you. Okay. Thank you very much. I'm very aware, ladies and gentlemen, I'm very aware that people came from very, very far places, so let us try and move on. Again, thank you, members, for your comments and questions. And I believe management has been able to answer your questions and address them satisfactorily. Having successfully laid the audited financial statement for the 2023 financial year before members, in the absence of any further comments, we'll move on to the next business of the day. In accordance with the provisions of Section 249, subsection 3 of the Companies and Allied Matters Act 2020 and Article 29, subsection B of the Articles of Association of the Company, I declare that voting at today's meeting shall be by show of hands, except where a poll is demanded or required. To facilitate a smooth conduct of the business of the day, I will move with each motion from the chair and invite seconders for each motion from the members and the shareholders. Seconders are kindly requested to clearly state the name and enable the company secretary to take appropriate notes. Members are also kindly requested to raise their hands when they vote to allow for easy counting of the votes. Okay, thank you. The next item on the agenda is the re-election of the directors of your company. Given that my directorship is to be presented for re-election, I would like to invite Mr. Deji Ali to moderate on this agenda item. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. In accordance with Section 285 of the Companies and Allied Matters Act 2020, Mr. Oladapo Oshinosi, Mr. Sadiq Mohammed, and Mr. Benson Ajayi, being the longest-serving directors, have retired by rotation. Being eligible, Mr. Oladapo Oshinosi and Mr. Benson Ajayi have put themselves up for re-election. Mr. Sadiq Mohammed has chosen to retire. By virtue of Section 287 of the Companies and Allied Matters Act 2020, a motion for the appointment of two or more persons as directors by a single resolution shall not be made unless it has first been agreed by the meeting unanimously. Therefore, I move a motion for the re-election of Mr. Oladapo Oshinosi and Mr. Benson Ajayi by a single resolution. May I have a seconder for that?
Chairman, this
Can I call the woman? The woman, the lady. Thank you. Those in favor of the motion should please raise their hands.
Everybody.
And those against? I declare that the motion to re-elect Mr. Oladapo Oshinesi and Mr. Benson Ajayi by a single vote has been carried. Thank you. No, that's the motion. Having obtained the unanimous resolution of members that Mr. Oladapo Oshinesi and Mr. Benson Ajayi be re-elected as directors by a single resolution, I hereby move that the resolution for the re-election of Mr. Oladapo Oshinesi and Mr. Benson Ajayi as directors of the company. May I have a seconder for that? Yes, sir.
Okay, the name is Bamishile Abiola. I gladly second the motion.
Thank you. Thank you, Mr. Bamishila. Those in favor of the motion should please raise their hands. Okay. Those against the motion should please raise their hands. I hereby declare that the motion has been duly carried. So, Mr. Chairman, may I just welcome you and congratulations.
Thank you, shareholders. Thank you for your confidence in the team. The next item is the appointment and the remuneration of our auditors. The next business of the day is to authorize the directors to appoint Deloitte & Touche as external auditors for the financial year ending December 31st, 2024, and to fix their remuneration. Moving from the chair, I hereby move that the directors be, and I hereby authorized to appoint Deloitte & Touche as external auditors for the financial year ending December 31st, 2024, and to fix their remuneration. May I have a seconder, please? The gentleman here, sorry, he came up for your name, sir.
My name is Ige John Kenneth. I second the motion.
Thank you very much. Those in favor, please raise your hands. Okay, thank you. I think it's noted. Those against? Okay. Thank you. I hereby declare that the matters has been duly carried. Welcome, Deloitte & Touche. Next item is the election of members of the audit committee. Hello. Yes. Thank you. The next business of the day is election of shareholders of the company to the audit committee for the financial year ending 31st of December 2024. Section 404, subsection 3 of the Companies and Allied Matters Act 2020 mandates that a public company shall establish an audit committee and that the committee shall consist of 3 representatives of the shareholders and 2 non-executive directors nominated by the board of directors. The auditors, in addition to their report to the shareholders, are required to submit a report to the committee. With respect to the representatives of the shareholders on the audit committee, the company secretary has received nominations for the following members to represent the shareholders' interest in the audit committee. They are Mr. Ralph Oluwole Osayeme. Thank you. Mr. Eson Ogunleye. Mr. Olubumi Akiremi. Thank you. Thank you, Audit Committee. Thank you, shareholders. In view of the fact that only 3 nominations have been received, the 3 nominees have been nominated to be the shareholders' representative on the Audit Committee for the financial year ending December 31, 2024. Further to this, I shall move that these 3 members be elected as shareholders' representatives on the Audit Committee. I move that Mr. Ralph Oluwole Osayeme be elected as shareholders' representative on the committee for the year ending. I'm going to invite one of you to come and be the chairman of this very soon. So please, let's try and get this done. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Yes.
I rise to second the motion.
Thank you.
My name is Wahid Aziz Kolawole.
Okay, thank you very much. Those in favor, we'll make it very quick. Everybody. Those against? Okay, thank you very much. I'll go to the next person, which is I move that Mr. Eson Ogunleye be elected as shareholders representative on the committee for the year ending December 31, 2024. Someone else to second, please. Yes, the lady, please.
Thank you, Chairman, for the opportunity. My name is Mrs. Bisi Adedigba from Lagos Zone Shareholders Association. Second the motion.
Thank you very much. Those in favor, your hands, please. Those against? Okay, thank you very much. We'll take the Mr. I move that Mr. Olubunmi Akinremi be elected as shareholders representative on the committee for the year ending December 31, 2024. Can I have a seconder, please? The youngest one.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Because he's very handsome, so let me second his motion. So I rise to second the motion. My name is Gafar Enifolami, the youngest shareholder.
Thank you, Mr. Gafar. Those in favor?
Everybody.
Okay, thank you. Those against? Following the result of the votes by show of hands, I declare that the motion has been duly carried. Consequently, the shareholder representative on the Audit Committee for the financial year ending December 31, 2024, are Mr. Ralph Osayeme, Mr. Eson Ogunleye, Mr. Olubunmi Akinremi. The board has appointed the following directors as representatives in the Audit Committee: Mr. Sheyi Owoduni and Mr. Olatunde Lauye. The next item is the remuneration of the managers of the company. The next business of the day is the disclosure of the remuneration of the managers of the company. In accordance with Section 257 of the Companies and Allied Matters Act 2020, which mandates the disclosure of managers' remuneration to members of the company at the audit annual general meeting, I hereby draw the shareholders' attention to page 106 of the annual report, which details the executive compensation that have been fully disclosed. This is in line with full corporate governance. The special business for today, they are as follows. The next item on the agenda for the approval is the approval of the amendment of the company's Articles of Association. I hereby move that the Articles of Association of the company be and is hereby amended by deleting Article 37 and substituting it with the following new clause. The company shall have at least 5 directors, and unless and until otherwise determined by the company in a general meeting, the number of directors shall not exceed 12. May I have someone to second that, please? Yeah, please.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My name is Makonjuola Oladayo Abdul-Yekin. I rise to second the motion.
Thank you, Mr. Makonjuola. Thank you very much. Okay. Those in favor, please. Okay. Those against? I hereby that the motion has been duly carried. Thank you. Thank you. The next business of the day is the ratification of the appointment of Mrs. Eniton Rewane as a director of the company with effect from 17th of May 2024. I move from the chair that the appointment of Mrs. Eniton Rewane as a director of the company with effect from 17th of May 2024 be and is hereby ratified. Can I have someone second? Okay, please. Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Those in favor? Those against? I hereby declare that the motion has been duly carried. The next business of the day is the ratification of the appointment of Mr. Larry Eta as a director of the company with effect from 17th of May 2024. Moving from the chair that the appointment of Mr. Larry Eta as a director of the company with effect from 17th of May 2024 be and is hereby ratified. May I have someone to second the first tender, please?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. My names are Ali Ayanwole Sikiru from Ibadan.
Thank
I
you.
rise to second the motion.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you very much. We have a seconder. Those in favor? Everybody. Thank you. And those against? Who is speaking? Sorry. Yeah. Please, let's hear.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Yes,
my name is Mrs. E.O. Obideyu, once again, National Coordinator of ACT of God Shelters. Not accessible. There is no time that you will get there. Is it that they said they've gone out? You mean everybody in the secretariat is always out? Or nobody? For the past 6 years, I think they know me in that place.
Okay. All right.
So I want to know, because secretariat are the people that are close to the shareholder. So I don't know what is happening to your own secretariat department. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, thank you. We will make sure that this is noted and investigated. Thank you very much. Okay, so the next item is the continuous ratification of directors. The next business of the day is the ratification of the appointment of Mr. Daniel Olatunde Olaoye as a director of the company with effect from 17th of May 2024. I move from the chair the appointment of Mr. Olatunde Olaoye as a director of the company with effect from 17th of May 2024. I hereby declare that the motion has been duly carried. The next business of the day is also continuous ratification of directors, and it is to ratify the appointment of Mr. Wale Odutola as a director of the company with effect from 1st of July 2024. I move from the chair that the appointment of Mr. Sarah, please. Identify themselves. Yes. Okay. Yeah. When we started, you're right. You're absolutely right. Well, This you have ratified. This is Mrs. Rewane. That's Mr. Laoye. And standing on my right is Mr. Wale Odutola. Oh. Sorry. Can you recognize them now? Okay. So we'll move those in support of Mr. Odutola to be a director of the company. Everybody. Those, thank you very much. Those against? So, the man seconded.
All right, Mr. Chairman, my name is Adedumola Daniel, the National Coordinator of Urbanised Shareholders Association. I second this motion. Thank you.
Okay. We like that we have so many people that are eager to second. So we hereby declare that the motion has been carried and Mr. Odutola is now a member of the board of directors of the company. Thank you for the ratification of all of the directors. We have not taken it for granted. The next item is to approve the change in remuneration of the directors. Again, we're following due diligence and full governance. That's why we make sure that everything we do in the company is with full disclosure. I move that the remuneration of the directors as proposed by the Board of Directors at the meeting of December 18, 2023 be and is hereby fixed at 42,500,000 naira and 34,600,000 naira for the chairman and the non-executive directors respectively. I would like someone to second that motion, please.
I so do, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Your name, please.
Having promised us that come next year, we will be getting dividend. So, hi, Adelakun, Lukman, Adeshola, I so do with that Ujaman. Thank you very much.
One after the other, please. One after the other. Well, these are all the directors, and the executive has proposed it. Yeah, please. Yeah, please go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
It's a resolution that the board would take it.
On the last resolution, this one that we are just taking.
Yes.
If you look at it, say it's hereby fees for the chairman. It's fees for 42.5 million.
Yes.
And 34.6 for non-executive directors. I think that one should be rephrased for each of the non-executive directors, because if chairman is taking alone, so if the chairman alone is taking 42, that means hold on. Let me land. So by the meaning to me is that this statement means 34.6 is for all other directors.
Your point
so if
is
it's not so, let us clarify it. Thank you, sir.
It is not so, and it's each of the independent directors. Thank you for bringing it up. It shall be noted and corrected accordingly. Thank you. Again, we've had a seconder. Yes. Yeah. Okay. Those against? Okay. I hereby declare that the motion has been duly carried. Again, now this concludes the business of this day, and I would like to thank you all for attending this meeting. But before I close, I want to let you all know that all your comments have been taken. We're taking note of it, and we, as your directors, we're committed to ensuring that we give back to the shareholders, and the shareholders continue to benefit from the company. It's a tough environment in Nigeria today, and you all know, and you know what is happening on the streets. And I did mention earlier, we are not alien to what is going on. I do pray that things will continue to improve in our country. that it will be better for everyone that have come around today. And I specifically also want to thank all the shareholders that have made all the effort to come here today and to participate in the process. Without the shareholders, there's no company. You know, so every single person here, you are all very, very important, and we value your contribution, we value your investment in the company. Thank you for coming. Have a very safe trip back to your locations, and we look forward to seeing you. Yeah, so I have, yeah.
You're supposed to get up for us, then we'll sit down to appreciate us, that we find time to come here. The board, you get up and appreciate us, then we'll sit down so that we know you appreciate us as your shareholder. Thank you,
shareholders, it is officially we have adjourned this meeting because I've already closed. I was just making comments, but our madam at the back, I think she's not an activist, is she? But the directors will stand up for you. Well, yeah. Okay. Thank you. Can we have the national anthem to close, please? Only first verse.
To the Nigerian national anthem, Mr. Albert Congo raises the flag of the new nation.
Nigeria, we hail thee, our own dear native land. Though tribe and tongue may differ, in brotherhood we stand. Nigerians old and proud to serve our sovereign motherland.
Chairman.